Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathleen Panganiban, and I'm here to present my final paper for feasibility study for Gero 578, Redstone Retirement Project. Let's get started. So I'm here to give you guys some information about the project summary. We were tasked to figure out as far as any reasons why the project would not be successful. How I approached this project is that I placed a summary plus any viable areas that will work on the project, and then discussed any unviable or problems that might arise with the project and include their solutions. So for the project summary, this is an actual new continuing care retirement community be located in southern Pasadena, which is in the city of Los Angeles. It was said that it is a 15.74 acre flat site, which will comprise with 240 units, 1 to 2 bedroom independent living apartments, 40 assisted living units, including 20 memory care studios. There would be a one-time entrance fee, a monthly service fee under different contracts, which would be a type C, pay for service, including plans with large refunds and limited rental options. The project itself will have independent living, assisted living, memory care, and an option for an off-site skilled nursing. What are the viable areas of the project? I've highlighted site location, target market and age group, surrounding neighborhood, the choice of a strong neighborhood, which is the South Pasadena area, and then also a variety of clientele options and accessibility. As far as the site location, I believe that the project is viable with choosing the site location because the area they've chosen has strong local affluence. It is in an area where there's attractive target demographics, and then also there's favorable pricing and revenue potential for that area. It also was stated that it has proximity to healthcare infrastructure, which has two major hospitals within the area. And as far as direct competition from back in 2010, as we can see, there's not a whole lot of competition during that time. And the median home value of housing unit, per occupied housing unit, owner occupied in South Pasadena, is referenced on the graph. For target market and age group, the surrounding neighborhood offers many walkable amenities, museums, and restaurants. There is also a study that I have pulled out based on life expectancy data. The area maintain average life expectancies above 75 years, with most values between 78 and 83 years. The proximity of this location to the city, historical areas, has given abundance of services and activities that will work out with the project. Surrounding neighborhood. Um, the chosen area of the project is very large and mostly a flat site. What does that mean? It means that there's not going to be any issues as far as delays on having to adjust on digging through hills or waiting for permits and all of that um, nuances that comes with any building constructions. There's going to be existing utilities on site because of the surrounding neighborhood having existing utilities already. It also has proximity to well-known landmarks, as referenced with Terrace, the Terrace Villa, and then also the Ambassador buildings, and then the Hard Rock Church. There's a strong neighborhood choice in the South Pasadena area. This comes into safety and as well as how famous the area is. Its all location is also accessible to a good transportation area. South Pasadena is safe. It's a respected area with strong schools, nearby hospitals, many shops, parks, and services. I have also looked into crime rates, both for property and violent crimes. and has remained low between the years of 2010 to 2019, in reference and comparison between South Pasadena and the general California and national average. It just means that families would already have trust built within this neighborhood, and they would want their loved ones to live somewhere safe, familiar, and secure. This gives a very strong reputation, and therefore it's an easy to build site with high quality neighborhood. Variety of clientele options and accessibility. Pasadena is very rich with local history. It has proximity to art, culture, and historic districts. Therefore, it gives a lot of options when it comes to social activities, options for activities, and then also fulfilling choices for residents or seniors that would be moving into that community. There's also good transportation access and convenient transit as it is actually close to the major freeways. There's a combination of preserved historic character and strong connectivity matches when it comes to the historic options surrounding the actual community. Now, we'll move further with the identification of problematic items and some revisions to the strategy. I've identified, I believe, seven problematic items, and they are as follows. The site issue. So as we see, I have provided a map right here on the top, from where the Terrace Villa Mansion and the Hard Rock Church is actually located. I shared on the project. It is going to be within the surrounding proximity of these areas, and therefore it will have some hurdles when it comes to this. It is a historical setting, therefore, regulatory concerns might arise. There's going to be a considerable amount of impact on historic character and nearby properties. Therefore, it is going to have some policy tension the relation to preservation versus housing needs. Operational neighborhood impacts on surrounding uses. The existing areas would have the issues of how the operations might affect the surrounding businesses and areas where the community is going to be built. There's also going to be a fundamental land assembly and feasibility problem, given that there's not a whole lot of open space to allow or accommodate a 15 point something, 50, approximately 16 acre of land for a flat site build would be an actual issue. Solutions and recommendations in mind. There is going to be some underused church land in the area based on the map that may actually be feasible for small senior affordable units. There's also an opportunity for maybe combining 2 to 3 nearby lots for a mid-sized senior project matching a more historical scale. Um, there's also a research that I've done regarding surplus sites and a possibility of a use of a 2 acre public surplus site for senior affordable housing might be also a viable option. The approach to strategize with this is to have several small scattered senior projects instead of one large 15.7 to 74 acre project. These options may conflict with current project target market. Second problem that might arise is related to market area definition and analysis. The primary market area originally for Redstone retirement was defined very broadly. It did share about 245-mile radius, which consists of multiple zip codes. It also has shared that it will include distant cities, not just in Pasadena, but also stretching as far as San Francisco and Phoenix. Um, this is very useful for general background and context. However, we want to emphasize that when it comes to a CCRC, a lot of times they would actually want clients or attract seniors, prospective clients, that are actually living in the local area. In reality, most of them would have 70 to 80% of residents come from within 5 to 20 miles of the community. This also lets us know that seniors are actually willing to relocate for senior housing if they're within a close proximity of the new community that's being built. There are risks of defining the primary market area too broadly. It does overstates demands and number of income qualified seniors. It also results to inflated projections and underestimation of the absorption period and results in more vacant units for longer reduced cash flow. And it also increases the financial strain or potential financial, oh, sorry about that, financial problem. The recommended solutions are as follows. We should redefine the primary market area to a more realistic local area. I would say maybe within the 30-mile radius of the Los Angeles County and nearby cities. This should align with the actual resident origin patterns. Maybe conducting a new focused local market study to determine a true age and income qualified households within that area. There's a definite use of objective target analysis to maintain trust and confidence of investors and lenders. Conducting focus groups with actual potential residents and their families so we can correctly define the local PMA. Use this to better understand the true age, income preferences, and lifestyle characteristics of the target market. Another problem that I have put together here is the marketing strategy. It was mentioned on the project that they are going to plan to use online ads only. As we know, online ads is not going to generate the right amount of leads and the right amount of deposits. What it sends as a message is that it ignores the value of perception. It it asks the question what customers feel is worth it. Therefore, if they're only going to focus on online ads only, it will resort to fewer leads and fewer deposits. Seniors are normally using offline information. It could be from print, mail, local papers, and the classic word of mouth. This entails big emotional choice needs. Therefore, prospect seniors would want to see brochures, have a feel of a tour, and be able to talk with any staff members that they will be encountering when they move into such a new community. It's also important that they hear family and friends' advice. And there's also technological gaps that we need to consider because not all seniors can utilize internet or knows how to utilize internet. Solutions and recommendations. Best plan is to mix online and direct marketing, utilizing local events, utilizing print, using healthcare partners since the community is within proximity with a lot of healthcare facilities, and then incorporating web searches, sites, social media, which would target adult children, and then also incorporating storytelling. Another problem that may arise is the pricing strategy. It is always important to know that a smart price plan helps new groups earn, grow, and last. The prices do shape brand place in market and who joins that. There is a need of balance of low cost and high value to make sure that we gain early users. The issues presented on the project stems from Redstone planning to use hedonic pricing with big discount frames. They also have huge cuts, which is up to 90%, as mentioned on the project. It will make fees hard to read and also compare. There's complex prices, can feel unfair. It might hurt trust and then also risk any legal lawsuits. I've put it in there one of the articles from Jiang and Erdem, specifically highlighting price fairness, which is linked to buy and rebuying intent. of any prospective customers. When it comes to this pricing strategy issue, it may cause confusion with families and then will affect word of mouth sharing by sharing bad stories and harms the name and the image of the company as early as that. The solutions and recommendations I have for this problem is to make sure that when pricing strategies are being put in place, that we use simple standard prices. We need to make sure that we have a clear price list and also limit and explain discounts. Give real life examples, check for fairness and legality, and then not most importantly, ask for feedback and adjust and communicate values and not tricks. The bottom line is move from complex discount heavy pricing to a simple, honest, and easy to read pricing system. I know this will reduce legal risk, protects the brand reputation, and also will ultimately build trust and resonance with families. Implications of no on-site skilled nursing would be another problem. Um, we know that a typical CCRC or a life plan community needs to have an on-site skilled nursing care. Why is that? It does sway away from the traditional life plan community. And it possibly will have disruptions to residents' lives because a majority of the time they choose a life plan community in order for them to age in place. It may send a message of more money stress and less cost predictability. There is also an effect of marketing and sales risk if the lifeline community does not have an on-site skilled nursing care. Business and financial impact on the community is also high as we can lose revenue if there is no skilled nursing care on site. Solutions and recommendations. I believe for this particular area, the project should have had test the market early. This will allow to strengthen trust and communication, monitor and adjust over time when it comes to the planning setup. And then also, if in the last resort, building an on-site SNF is not possible all throughout the project, then we need to create a strong alternative model. A strong alternative model could be partnering with an off-site skilled nursing facility. While there are high risk, this would be a viable option. And it could be done by establishing a formal written partnership agreements. We need to make sure that we build preferred provider network and then also negotiate guaranteed priority access for the existing residents of the CCRC to these partnered facilities in the time of need. Um, Another good strategy would be adding a care coordination service package with possibly with an added fee, which will include helping with referrals, paperwork, and communication between providers, assigning a dedicated staff or team member to guide the families and the residents through the transition, and then also providing free private transportation to the skilled nursing facilities. Service agreement choices and financial risk is also another possible problem. The project itself has mentioned a service agreement will be a type C or fee for service with 90% refundability. It will also utilize traditional declining refund plan known as the non-repayable option, and it will offer a type D rental on a limited basis. Noting that service agreements does not include off-campus healthcare services, payer would be the payer would be client Medicare private insurance or private pay for when any healthcare services needs arise later on. The problems in this area is that there is a higher health risk. There is a higher health risk for type C fee for service residents. It may create a financial strain on the community, may have too many different contract types which may cause confusion. The high refund liability from the 90% refundable option is also a concern. There might be a question of fairness and satisfaction issues among residents, might cause confusing choices for future residents and families, and then also has lost value from not offering a full on-campus continuum of care, which is a skilled nursing. Solutions and recommendations. We need to make sure that we simplify and standardize the contract choices. And it allows us to rebalance contract designs to lower risk for residents in the community. There is a need to tighten management of refund obligations and should re-examine the 90% refundable option. For this particular solution, it will also address fairness and communication if we improve financial operations and systems. Let's make sure the options easy to understand for prospects and strengthen the on-campus continuum of care, even if we are partnering with a third-party off-site skilled nursing facility. Ongoing monitoring and adjustments will need to be done. Last but not the least, operational assumptions and service package might also be a problem. It was said on the project that the community will be offering free luxury services, which this particular services are not standard and realistic in a true senior housing community. This particular services will also greatly raise operating cost. On the monthly service fee, it's assumed to increase 4% per year. With that particular percentage yearly, this may not cover any rising wages, any general inflation yearly, and also the extra cost of luxury services is not realistic. The above information may make the business model unsustainable in the long term. Also, it was noted that on the operational positioning, revenue manager, which is a highly paid position, was also noted as helping in kitchen and housekeeping work. Excuse me, this is also a problem. Using the revenue manager for basic hourly tasks will then waste an expensive resource. They are not focused on revenue growth and pricing strategy, which is their main responsibility. And then also for this particular associate and individual, it hurts their morale and overall performance. Solution and recommendations. We need to do a market analysis to learn which particular services and amenities residents truly value, which services are not needed and only add cost. We need to make sure that we simplify the service package to match normal industry standards for a Type C contract. Remember that Type C residents take on the risk of future costs themselves. Therefore, do not over-subsidize luxury services they may not need. We need to make sure that we're creating an honest and detailed budget that includes all real costs of services, clear reflected in the monthly service fee. It also needs to show the expected yearly monthly service fee increases needed to stay sustainable. Adjust or reduce free luxury services so that ongoing costs match what the monthly service fee can realistically support. As for the operational problem, let's redefine the revenue management role. Make sure that the revenue manager role focuses on increasing revenue, setting and managing prices, improving financial performance and efficiency. Therefore, by removing them from the kitchen, housekeeping, and other hourly staff duties, and focuses on the actual true revenue management's job description. In conclusion to this final paperwork, I have summarized the areas based on viable and non-viable recommended problems. Strong site fundamentals. While the project is in a desirable Pasadena location, it is it is a walkable neighborhood, flat infrastructure ready site, affluent homeowner base, and proximity to hospitals and cultural institutions does therefore all support basic revenue assumptions. However, there is a scale and context misalignment. The proposed 15.74 acres conflicts with the historic fabric and parcel part of South Arroyo, making the project politically and physically unrealistic at its current size. There is an overstated demand risk. The primary market is drawn too broadly. As mentioned earlier, it's going to inflate projected demand and absorption and increase the risk of financial underperformance. The marketing and pricing concerns has reliance on only online marketing. A complex discounted hedonic pricing model is also presented, and multiple contract types might undermine resident trust, perceived fairness, and long term financial stability. There is an incomplete continuum of care. The lack of on site skilled is inconsistent with the promise of a true life plan CCRC model. This will therefore expose residents to greater uncertainty in continuity of care, relocation, and long term cost. Strategic repositioning is needed. Redstone is most feasible if re envisioned as a smaller, context sensitive development with realistic, locally focused market definition, simplified, transparent pricing and contract structures, and either a fuller on site continuum of care or clearly structured, robust off site care partnerships. The gerontological alignment is reshaping the project along these lines, better supports both revenue goals and the core gerontological aims of security, autonomy, and well being in later life. And that's it. Thank you so much.